So now let's move on to the exercise 2, which is, so we've got all these tasks lined up under each of the phases, right? But like, how do we measure success? Like, how do we know our customers are going to do each of those tasks and do them well and get benefit, and all those are going to ladder up into the Uber job and that Uber benefit? So we're going to really focus on this, which is exercise 2, which is actually measuring the benefit. And I think, and there's actually a nuance to this, which I think is captured in the paragraph below, which is ensuring teams are working and measuring on the most important tasks for the customer. So I walked around and I saw, I'm sure 20 tasks across the phases. And for each one of those tasks, there's design work to be done. So this exercise is a little bit too on how do we think about prioritizing that work and focusing on making sure we're working on the right thing with our Scrum teams and our product managers to deliver real customer value. So I put together this slide. I think, again, some of the products we love, Amazon, I think, again, going to go back to the job is online shopping, and the customer benefit is best selection, fast, most affordable. That's what the customer cares about. But in terms of measurement, how, as an organization, how do we measure? So if you're thinking, going back to Theodore's quote, it's obviously making the most money, selling the most products, that's great from a business metric. But what does the customer care about? How do they want to measure it? They care about the percentage of lower prices. And Amazon, there's a good story here where Amazon created an internal app that literally went out and trolled all their online shopping competitors, Target probably most likely, and did comparison pricing. They're like, Method soap dispenser, $5. How much is it at Target? How much is it at Amazon? And if they found out that the percentage of cheaper products were at Target, they would then lower their prices. Because at the end of the day, they know that their customers care most about the lowest price. That's how they measured it, which is really fascinating, right? They also care about delivery time. Drones in the sky. Amazon's very focused on delivery time. So and a customer cares about that too. So Amazon's really focused on measuring these key customer benefits. And you can go see forever on Uber. For Uber, again, job is driving, the customer benefits, lowest price and most convenient, and wait time. No one wants to wait 30 minutes for a taxi. Uber's value proposition, you'll get an Uber at your door in less than 2 to 3 minutes. And they're always working to optimize that. Because they know if they get to 2 to 3 minutes, you are going to be using Uber all the time. How many people take regular taxis? I was like, Maribel, no. How many people do use Uber? Wow, there you go. Cool. Lyft. Well, yes, Lyft and Uber. We can take that offline during happy hour. Awesome.
Chat about that one later.
Is there any questions on this? No? Cool. So bringing it back to an Intuit example, measuring payroll. This is how we think about maybe measuring and the job is, payroll is done. It's really around, the measurement's really around efficiency and confidence. And we put some customer verbatims here. This is the end state you want your customers to say in terms of efficiency. It took me half the time it takes normally to do payroll. It was taking me 4, and we have customers saying it takes me 10 hours a week to do payroll. It's such a drudge, If we can get them to say it takes me half the time, and 100% of our customers saying that, you can imagine the business growth, right? That's kind of the verbatim we want to get to. Or confidence, you can do it really fast, but if your payroll's inaccurate, you're probably not going to use payroll anymore with us. So again, my payroll, my taxes were done right. Everyone got paid on time. Talk about confidence for a customer. When they enter their payroll data, they know it's there. Make sense? So we're going to ask you guys in the exercise to really think about these benefits for the tasks. Okay. So again, to sort of reinforce this, obviously a lot of organizations measure sort of those business results. In the case of QBO, it's conversion numbers, sign up to subscription. But we really want to keep that and layer in and measure in and put a prioritizing on measuring those customer benefits, in this case, efficiency and confidence for payroll. So again, you're going to have all these tasks. So in this case, you're going to have define the tasks. In the case of payroll, or in the case of TurboTax is a great example. The job is really getting your taxes done right. And in this case, you're actually going to submit and do your tax and then submit it for filing. You're going to actually want to get your money back. So we're going to ask you actually to break that up and to think about it in terms of time, for example, if that's how you know you're going to measure it. So in the case of TurboTax, it might take you, the actual time is you doing taxes in the product. And we, over the last several years, have really optimized this in TurboTax. Maybe it took 3 hours to do your taxes in TurboTax, and over time we've slowly whittled that down to, let's say, an hour. But it's that actual time. How long does it take you to do it in product? So this would be like not achieving the benefit or sealing a deal. It's actually getting that first benefit. Cycle time is a tricky thing because you might actually submit your taxes, but your actual job is getting your tax return, filing your taxes and getting your money. So you can submit your taxes, but it can take 3 weeks to get your money. That's the cycle time, right? So that's how long it takes to actually offline get your money. Does that concept make sense? Actual time versus cycle time? Yeah, we can maybe map it quickly to Uber, which might take you 2 minutes to order your Uber, but it might take 2 minutes for your Uber to come, or it could take 10 minutes for your Uber to come. So again, Uber is always working to shorten the actual time, but they're also really working to shorten the cycle time.
Yep.
Make sense? And we're also going to talk about the degree of pain. So as you look through your tasks, where is actual customer pain? Like in the case of taxes, do I really care if it takes 2 weeks to get my money? Maybe I really do. Maybe that's a really high pain point for me. But for other customers, it's a really low pain point. We need to figure out where the pain is and address that. Cool. And then eventually set targets. So how do you actually where do you want to actually improve upon it? Cool. We're actually going to do this exercise, but everyone kind of get the framework? Yeah. So let's look at an example. In the case of payroll, or in case of Uber, is get a ride is the job. Setup is the stage we're focusing on. So you think of your different phases. The one phase we're going to focus on is setup. So within that phase, there was going to be 3 tasks, right? So when we actually do it yourself, you would do this for everything, for all the phases, but for today we'll just focus on one phase. Maybe for Shopkick, it's really understanding could be the thing, or maybe it's sealing the deal. For DocuSign, it could be setup itself. So we focus on setup for Uber, so you got to kind of create the account. You've got to enable geolocation so they actually know where you are. Then you have to add your credit card information. So for the cycle times, 60 seconds to create an Uber account, it's pretty fast. Geolocation takes 10 seconds, and add credit card was taking 2 minutes. The interesting thing is, the cycle time, there is no cycle time for setting up an account. It's just done. Enabling geolocation, it's done. It's adding credit card information was taking time. Maybe it was taking 5 or 6 minutes. Because let's face it, anytime you use your credit card, you have to get off the couch, go find your wallet, pull the credit card out, type in all that information, which is a real pain. And I think Uber, let's say, really looked at this and they wanted to bring that target down to less time because it's a real pain. And if you used Uber, you noticed now you can snap a picture of your credit card. So they enabled that design innovation to reduce the cycle and actual time, right? And you can imagine now with Apple Pay, you can now put your thumb on your home screen. You don't need anything. It's just your cycle time's down to 0. So you're seeing how the industry is innovating to reduce these times. And if you map towards customer pain, it's low, low, and high. And there was a real pain point around that credit card. So that's where Uber spent time innovating and focused. Again, very similar challenge for QuickBooks and payroll. Again, in that setup to pay employees, there was a bunch of different things you needed to do to make setup smooth. You had to add your business info. You needed to set up a bank account. In this case, there's some pain around that because what's worse than getting your credit card is getting your checkbook to get your routing number. Has everyone done that before?
Yep.
It's kind of annoying. Where's the checkbook? I don't know. It's in the junk drawer.
Yeah.
It's not in the junk drawer. Oh, I left it in the car. So we got a lot of heads nodding, a lot of pain around that. Yeah. So again, creating, employer creates those profiles, and then the employees now needs to submit. So to run payroll for the first time, you need to submit W-4 and I-9, and it maybe takes 0 seconds because we fire off an email to the employees to add their W-4 and I-9, but that cycle time can be days. I loved your DocuSign example. You get the DocuSign in the inbox, but it can take days for someone to get around to actually clicking that sign button. Mm-hmm. So this cycle time really comes into play, and that pain point is exceptionally high here. So you can imagine Intuit, how do we innovate that particular pain point, and how do we focus on that?